Hello, hello. Slurgy is here. And so are you, whoever it is that you are. And we're back from outer space. And we're here to play some Battle Brothers. And a previous session, we did a nice loop through the far reaches of unexplored lands, busted a whole bunch of orc Sea of Tents camps, and I don't think I got a single named item. Actually, I think it was only one Sea of Tents camps, but a bunch of other, you know, random camps. We apparently do have 3 named items though, so. I do sometimes, often, like to get the Bounty Hunter as my 3rd retinue, because, you know, fighting champions is fun and profitable. And it's a good way of, you know, amping up the team's overall power. But unfortunately, we went with the Scavenger instead, because we unlocked the 3rd slot before getting 3 named or legendary items. So I suppose, you know, we could always replace him, but it's kind of expensive to do, and I think he serves his role well enough. So what I'm looking at doing now is, I don't want to fall too far behind on ambitions. So it would be nice to patrol the roads just a little bit to find a caravan. We can take out that last caravan and complete this ambition. And then I'd like to explore the north and all the snow for not only some barbarians to fight, because I think the team is actually pretty good against them, but also for the icy cave. I do think we could fight the barbarian madman reasonably well on a decent number of bros. Final Overdrive might be a good candidate. Sir Humpert would be potentially good as well. Several good choices, actually. Okay, so I suppose I'll maybe I'll walk. Well, let's go to this fork in the road. Oh, okay, hold on. So this is the someone gets pooped on. Bird shits on sellsword. So if I do someone bring down that plumed transgressor, if we have someone with more than 70 range skill, and then people get a good mood. Yeah. Excellent. Oscar the Hybrid managed to do it. Great. Cute, I guess. Whatever. Alright, a fork in the road. Oh my god, okay. A caravan passed through here. Let's follow it. Bingo. And then this will get us our ambition complete. Oh, we'll just shoot these through. And we'll move up for next turn. Okay, they're all dead. Hello, Flapperjack. Good to see you. Boom. Ambition completed. We've been hanging on that one for a long time. We went on some adventures deep into the wilderness where there are no caravans. So it was a bit delayed, but you know, it's fine. The company gained renown, like taking candy from a child. A very rude thing to do. Hey, Blackfire, hello, hello. Started the stream a little later than usual. Had to make a Costco run where we were out of sparkling water. It was very sad. And like a good millennial, I subsist on sparkling water as my primary source of hydration, for better or for worse. So, should I go left or right? They got Costco in the Midwest? We sure do. Lots of them. I don't actually know what their geographic reach is. I don't know, are they East Coast, West Coast? Are they based out of the Midwest even? Who knows? I don't. Boy, they're like standing almost in exactly where I want them to. Thought you guys went to the farm around the corner? Well, I mean, for some things. We do have farmers markets. That's kind of the same idea. Let's see, should I move Nixlarfs? Yeah, let's get him in a better blasting position. Boom, 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 boom. Got him. And we got his javelins. Hell yeah. Ah, sparkling water made me burp. You just did a flawless warlord camp with 32 orcs. Felt so satisfying. Orcs get demolished in the forest. Hell yeah. Now by flawless you mean like no damage taken? Or flawless as in flawlessly executed? A subtle but important distinction. Because if you fought 32 orcs and didn't take a single point of damage, that is... Dang. No damage. Congrats, that is, that's quite the feat. We managed to take a decent amount of damage in this fight, unfortunately, for it just being a bunch of reavers. They got a bunch of excuse me, a bunch of throwing weapons that managed to connect. Oh, we'll run him down. We'll get this last guy. Oh, the drummer's gonna get caught. Let's get all the dogs we can unleashed and ready to get him. Boy, I just took the dogs on a walk and it is like unseasonably warm outside and I'm like sweaty. We'll let the dogs just finish this guy off. I'm sure they're more than capable. Wow. Disaster. I can't believe that guy got a dog. It's not what I expected. Anyway, we got some very good throwing weapons from this fight. We don't have too many throwers, so we don't have as much use for them as perhaps we normally would or typically would. It's probably better for me to just have more throwing weapons on XGI 7 instead of the spiked impaler. I feel like that's probably true. So then we'll hang on to some of the other throwing weapons so that they are ready for us for when we fight Ancient Dead and we need them. Nyx Larf's here, got his final level. And as wild and crazy as it sounds, I kind of feel like I don't hate the idea of just giving him dagger mastery. So it's more of a defensive boost, if you could see it that way, where if something jumps on top of him, he'll be fast enough to get the overwhelm stacks applied to the enemy. But it's also, you know, offensive, getting an extra attack. And he'll hit, you know, some of the time. His melee skill's not very good, but it's not abysmal. He's mostly going to be gunning anyway. And we'll take one more roll in initiative. We'll make sure that he is confidently faster than necro savants once battle is truly joined. I think that'll be a very good thing. I don't think I've ever... I know I've said this almost like, you know, a broken clock or whatever, but there's a lot of builds that I'm doing that, like, I'm confident that I've never done a build quite like whatever it is that I did. Okay, so this Barbarian Tents, I could go up and bust, but I might just head west and then we'll get it on the way back. Can we hunt down some Lindworms now? We could, actually. How many Lindworms would I feel comfortable fighting with this team in its current state? Ooh, Spear Duelists are terrible for this. I need to get them some reach weapons. But let's say I had just bill hooks to give them. You know, honestly, I feel like I could take on three Lindworms, and I would be pretty okay with that fight. Fighting more feels like a bad idea. But I feel like I could take on 3 Lindworms reasonably comfortably. Well, there's the icy cave. Wow. All right, we found it like right away. Faster than expected. So I said I could maybe have Final Overdrive do it, but I wasn't ready to actually officially, formally, absolutely, definitively decide to do that. So who would I want to have do it? Who is most likely to succeed? So the 2 people I have in mind as the most likely to succeed are either Sir Humpert or Final Overdrive. I suppose probably Sir Humpert? Maybe that's not true. Maybe Final Overdrive. Maybe the extra dodge value pushes him over the edge. Yeah, so Final Overdrive, I would move some gear over. I'd move basically this exact set over. How bad is the military cleaver against the Barbarian Madman? It's like... okay. Especially if we took Cleaver Mastery and just said, alright, Cleaver is his backup weapon. So the way the fight would play out is we sit in Spear Wall with the Fighting Spear, and the goal is basically to do, I mean the goal is obviously to do as much damage as possible, but particularly we're mostly going to be damaging armor, and that's okay. You only ever take a mace neutral, hasn't failed descents. Yeah, you know, if you look back at like the VODs, even through this run series, that's usually who I have fight the Madman. Sometimes I'll use an axe, but a mace is better just for the days. So a Kibio could be another reasonable candidate. We'd move this armor over to him. And we'd, you know, maybe we'd get one blast of the handgun off, but mostly we're there just for being a big fatigue neutral. But I feel like I've got better nimble armors. I mean, actually I should, I mean, this well-crafted splendor is good, but the assassin's robe here with this attachment is also quite good. And we're very, that's going to protect against bleeds pretty well. So then here, this perk, I think I go with Cleaver Mastery. And we're just gonna say, yep, eventually that's what he'll be. We'll take him in with the military cleaver so he can get double the bleed if he breaks through the spear wall. There is a chance that the spear wall all on its own succeeds. There's like what's the percent chance? Like 33%, something like that. There's a video by Feeding Friendly where he does the math on it. And I believe his math is correct last I checked, but haven't verified it super recently. And the number might not be 33. I can't recall off the top of my head. It's something like that. But regardless, we should expect some amount of damage. There's only a 20% chance of no damage from the spear, and we'd have to go right to cleaving, which would be bad. It would take a little bit of chonkin to get through to start applying bleeds. Almost makes it tempting to do the strange mushrooms. For two reasons, if we did it on Final Overdrive. So the first is a higher chance of killing him without getting hit at all, because the spear will just, you know, do as it does. And then if he does get through, we apply bleeds more quickly to him by getting through his armor and applying the requisite amount of hit point damage to apply the bleed. Vanilla game? Yeah. I should probably create a command for mod list, but it's pretty vanilla. Quite vanilla. Also, hello Casario. The only mods are quality of life mods. Like true quality of life mods, not sneaky, you know, things that, you know, tryout mods or anything. That's all. That's not quality of life. That's just making the game easier. But yeah, I think we're gonna do this with Final Overdrive. So we're gonna go ahead and move this armor over to him. Unless I wanted to do it with Friso instead. Now that's an interesting proposition. No, let's do it with Final Overdrive. He's got a better mood right now. Do I want to bring a dog? So if / when the Barbarian Madman makes it through, we're gonna weapon swap and then just immediately start attacking. Spear Duelist won't never play this one, rather do. Pretty good. But you'd have to, I should create an exclamation mark command for that as well. It's more than just a Spear Duelist, it's like a duelist who is a Spear Master who can also be a DPS duelist with some other weapon. A bit of a Swiss Army knife-ish. The goal is not to use the spear as a damaging weapon most of the time. But the spear is area control, and then some other weapon is the damage for when we need that. All right, we're gonna try this guy. So I'm going to do Cleaver Mastery. We'll go ahead and get that. Munch on some shrooms. Whew. All right. Final Overdrive, don't fail me. I could give him like a cat potion for dodge, for extra melee defense. You know, I really don't want to lose him. I may as well. Seems like a good idea. Second wind potion. I don't even know that I need to. The only time I'll need to is if I'm... Well, let's see. How many turns of attacks do I have? So it's 23 plus, and then chunks of 8. Quite a few. Maybe not an infinite amount. So I've got something. You can't see it, and I'm not going to show you. I've got like a piece of... I've got something hanging off my foot. It's like a debris from our walk. Okay. Gross. Okay. It's like a burr had embedded itself into my skin. Okay. Can you repeat the plan? Spear wall until he gets in and then change the cleaver? Exactly. Yep. Now, ideally, you almost want your guy to be slower because he's going to sit and wait. He'll wait for me to reapply spear wall and he'll be slower than me. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll do the second wind potion so that we can not have to worry about fatigue. So if we swap to cleave, then we have enough to do 2 attacks / decapitate as he's lower on health. So let's do this. You can do it, Slurgy. Well, we're all relying on Final Overdrive right now. No two-handers in your comp. Oh yeah, it's a whole thing. If you want to know more about why, this is why I should create the playlist. Short explanation is my goal for this Winstreak series is to prove that, or to not prove, to demonstrate that as long as you have a cohesive plan, there are many ways to achieve reliably, 100% of the time, you know, overcoming RNG victory in this game with a variety of different ways of styles of playing the game. You can do shield mace Catal, you can do spear duelists, you can do total trash bros that are building up fast adaptation stacks with nomad slings and then suddenly turn around and attack with a, you know, man splitter or berserk chain. That was last run. Anyway, the first run in this particular series, I do explain the builds that I planned on using. And in that video, which I will link to in a second, boom, I explain the builds. So there are two-handers in the comp, but they're they're gunners. So the goal is to do this until he breaks through, and then we weapon swap. Okay, so we knew he'd get there eventually, 95% chance after all. And then it's time for the cleaver. And I think we just decapitate right here. Ooh, almost. There we go. You're skeptical of Sunken Lime. I'm not skeptical at all for Sunken Library, Monolith, or Goblin City with these builds. I think they'll be excellent at all of those. I don't do every legendary location. The goal is just Black Monolith by day 150, which is reasonably, you know, loose constraints, right? Every single run so far, I've been ready to do it well before then. The idea is when I do Black Monolith at 150, I want it to also be a demonstration of, and look, your company is, like, I'm not losing half my squad with permanent injuries. Anyway, the weapon we got here sucks, and we will not be using it. The Blood-Drenched Gut Seeker is a crappy item that we're just gonna sell. However, we are very happy to find the Broken Ritual Armor. Wonderful. We'll go and move the Nacho Trophy back over. There's a lot of skeptics, I think. This is, if you're accustomed to the way the meta is described on Reddit, I imagine you think I look bad at this game. That's fine. Reddit is bad at this game. And in fact, I think, unfortunately, there's a lot of misunderstandings in the Battle Brothers community, because unlike a game like Dota, where victories can just rise to the top, or any other sort of like competitive game, right? We don't have that here in Battle Brothers, and so there's a lot of very bad ideas that are peddled as common knowledge that are wrong, I think. But again, there's a lot of ways to achieve success in this game. Cool. All right, so Barbarian Madman down. I was gonna sweep through all of the north in the snow. I don't really need to anymore. I guess I can go to the tundra and start looking for the hunting grounds already. There's no particularly bad reason for me not to do that. Throwers are your jam, you like to use them? Oh yeah, throwers are great. Throwers are incredibly powerful. You've yet to find the Idjarok in any of your runs. The problem with finding Idjarok is, so like right now, take a mental snapshot of the areas of tundra that have already been explored, because the hunting grounds could spawn in those locations. So of course we've got to find, you know, we're limited to just the tundra, which is this area in the, you know, this little slice of the dessert cake. But yeah, we'll have to re-explore some of the previously explored areas. So. He can be a pain to find. I think I have gotten lucky every single run in this particular win streak in finding him, which has been nice. Let's see, I should probably replace this armor so it can fix up. But there have definitely been plenty of runs in the past where, like, I can't find, well, sometimes I can't even find the Icy Cave because it can technically spawn in the forest and you have terrible vision range in the forest and then you don't find it and it's very annoying. But other than cases like that, you know, I think I found it every run in this win streak series. You can do Monolith without it, like it's not like a requirement or anything of the sort. I just like to do it because it makes it a lot easier. Having, you know, the northern flank tank have Armor of the Idjarok helps withstand the miasma that you're afflicted with like every single turn, and so it's pretty helpful there. Alright, in fights like this, you know, I could start trying to think about conserving ammo, so like the throwing weapons I might be a bit frugal. with my ammo. But the guns, you know, is only two ammo per shot, so should be fine. And then we can avoid any tools damage because, you know, they can't touch this. What I should do too. Now this is a build, for the record, I don't think that this build is necessarily good. It's more an experiment. Our fatigue neutrals are shield and hammer, but they also have whips. So we're pulling out the whips. Okay. We'll hit that guy in particular. Whips and a warhammer. It's a pretty weird combination of weapons. That's for sure. Whoa. There was a graphical effect where those like kind of just appeared. I don't know if that's because of the snow. It's kind of looked wonky. That Nacho has decided to peace out. He's seen enough. Oh, boo. They got an attack off. An enemy did an attack to me? Disaster. You'll pay for that. Let the doggy get his attack in. Salutations, Toxic Wild Hog. How's it going? How goes the Urtuk? I hope more successful today than yesterday, assuming you played. Urtuk, comma, or colon, semicolon? Some piece of punctuation, the desolation. You don't play games on weekdays anymore? Oh, okay. Fair enough. It can be tough to find the time. All right. That battle took longer than anticipated, but you know, we got through it. And we'll continue on. We'll take out the camp where they took, or where they came from. All right, so looking through these particular ambitions, This first one, top of the list, become known as professional, is basically a freebie. We've been a professional for a very long time, so this will simply complete in short order. Some of these other ones, you know, we're kind of beyond the stage of the game where we're going to be doing contracts, so I'm not going to do the second one. This third one here, this can just take an obnoxiously long time. And the fourth one, well, I don't know, 5 fights in the arena can be a little dicey, and then you have to spend 5 days all at the arena. And we got, you know, places to be. Earlier today, you asked a streamer what her favorite strategy RPG is. And did she say Battle Brothers? I think strategy RPG is a pretty good genre description of this game. Okay, so we've got our fallen hero here. Does have a scary weapon, so we'll have to be mindful of that. I don't think we need to spear wall this turn if we don't want to. So I say we don't. But we'll need to do it now. I'm going to try to concentrate any of the throwing weapon damage onto the fallen hero. This is looking like some pretty nice gun blasts. I'll just leave the banner right where he's at. Do you mean the strategy I use in Fortnite? Oh, is Red Dead Redemption an RPG? Is GTA an RPG? Oh, I played Skyrim. I love Skyrim. What did I say, Skyrim? I meant Spyro. Or Spyro? Wow, that is a very scattered response. Oh no, has it become a copy pasta? Or is it already a copy pasta? Is this a meme? I'm not hip and cool to the memes. I'm behind the times very often. Spyro was pretty awesome though. I never played it. But I have heard. I've heard that people like it. Wasn't that PS1 originally? I think that seems right to me. And I never had a PS1. Oh, I had another throw there. Whoops. Do I have a favorite 3D platformer? Super Mario 64? I've actually learned over the years that I don't care much for 3D games. And the reason, actually, that I did not really realize until many years later, only a few years ago, is that I have aphantasia, so I have literally no visualization at all. I didn't understand that people did. That all sounds very weird if you don't know what I'm talking about. But So games like 3D platformers were very hard for me because I would always get lost. Always lost. 100% of the time. So I just like basically, essentially couldn't play them. Like they're unplayable to me. And almost all 3D games are, unless they have a really good map. If they've got a really good map, then I can struggle through. Like Valheim works for me. I can play Valheim. Okay, look at all these. Look at this field of dead zombies. Beautiful. I had someone inform me that I pronounce the name of this enemy incorrectly, which is fair. And they said how to pronounce it, and now I don't remember what they said. Wiederganger? Something? Wiederganger? I don't remember. But it's not wiederganger. I don't know how it's pronounced, but in German, I guess, must be what that is. Let's see, hold on, what was the... This would be Nixlarfs, actually, who I named a bro after. Wiederganger. Wiederganger? Gunga? Wiederganger? Couldn't tell you. Wienerganger? Wiederganger? See, I think... Vida. I don't know. I don't speak German. W in German spells V. But is it like is it the same as like an English V sound? Or is it a bit softer? Maybe less vocalized. Wiederganger. I don't know. One of those was probably resembling something close, maybe. BMW say well, I mean, they'd have their own pronunciations of the letters, I'm sure. Whatever those are in German. I'm sure that's not BMW, it's whatever. I don't know. The only other language I can speak with any passable knowledge is Korean. Which is probably weird and an unexpected one. 그러면 한국말 조금밖에 못해요. But I can only speak a little, basically. BMV? Weird. Weird. Alright, XJI 7 here. Got our final level up. So, how gimped is he if I don't have bags and belts? V like to see a Slurgy stream. Hey, Vijante. Willkommen. Willkommen? I think that might be German. Boy, I'm here to offend all of the Germans. Offend all the Germans. The developers of this game are German, by the way. So, thank you, Germany, for this wonderful game. Or at least, you know, I don't know. The particular developers, Jason and his brother. And then Raps, the behind-the-scenes coder. So for XGI 7 here, I'm kind of deciding between Bags and Belts and Killing Frenzy. If I do Killing Frenzy, then I have to resort to using a sidearm weapon more quickly, which is fine. Most of the time, in most battles, by the time you've thrown 10 throwing weapons, I think it's just fine to use a melee sidearm for the rest of the encounter. It'll be a little awkward for Monolith, where I'd like to have, consumables, and it's a super long fight, so, more throwables is definitely a welcome sight. However, most of the important damage that you do is going to be at the beginning of a battle. Am I comfortable with 55 hit points on the hybrid? Yeah, he's got 9 lives. 10 goes fast with Berserk procs. It sure does. But if we get a Berserk proc on every single round, and we only get 3 solid rounds of throwing, man, did he do a lot of damage in 3 rounds. And so we can pull out the sidearm and participate in battles, and I think it'll be fine. But yeah, we're definitely not going to expose him to any, real danger as much as we can. The only things that are really going to threaten XGI 7 would be Orc Warlords pushing through, which, we're going to do our best to avoid putting ourselves in positions where they can do that. So if they break through the spear wall with Linebreaker, we'll at least have a full turn where we could move XGI 7 somewhere else for if they use the Linebreaker ability to push someone. So they can charge in, but we'd move him if they're going to be able to push through. And then Necro Savants, which, 9 lives actually does a pretty decent job against Necro Savants, because you get that 1 turn of good safety, and you can sort of surround that bro and then prevent them from being a target. Yeah. How effective are Warhammers in Battle Brothers? So Warhammers are a specific type of one-handed hammer. They're the best type of one-handed hammer. They're good. They're okay. I usually don't use them. You can use them effectively. I usually don't, and usually find there are better options. But this particular build, it makes sense on. As much as you can say the build makes sense, that is. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Killing Frenzy. I think I'm okay with it. I think I'd rather just get more damage out faster. Even though Bags and Belts, of course, would be nice, because we will burn through 10 javs in long fights pretty, regularly. It's also a lot of ammo to use though, so. Yeah, the problem with Hammer Duelist is just that Hammer Duelist is so expensive to swing for a duelist, and you want them to do a lot of damage. Like the actual attack, costing 11 fatigue after mastery is just a lot. Not a big fan of a hammer on a tank. You'd rather have it on duelist or two-handed. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care for hammer duelists. I'd rather just do hammer shield. I wouldn't really call it a tank though. It's a defensive build, but it's not the same thing as a tank. At least that's what I've got. Do you think Famed Warhammer with high armor damage and -2 stamina reduction per skill? Oh, hell yeah. So my favorite build I ever made was a fatigue neutral. That was a fatigue neutral hammer and shield, and it was fatigue neutral by virtue of the fact that it had a named hammer with -2 fatigue per usage, which brought the fatigue usage down to 9, and that bro had iron lungs, so I could swing twice with the Warhammer, stam neutral, hammer and shield, where I'm able to attack twice. That build was awesome, and it was ultra defensive, and I built him just like a fatigue neutral, heavy armor, put him right in the middle of things, and yeah. Making use of the resources at your disposal. That was a build invented on the fly based on the weapon I got, and I loved it. Been chasing that high ever since. So, given I don't have... So, you know, taking 12 fatigue to throw, a little bit of extra fatigue would be nice. I'd really rather these points not... I'll take the melee defense, and here I'm deciding between the resolve and the fatigue. Resolve helps them get to confident more quickly when enemies die, which translates to damage, which is important. I think I've got enough fatigue to basically stay him out essentially around the time that I run out of javs, which is, you know, about when we don't care as much anymore. So I'll put this point in resolve. I'm a resolve stan. I can't help it. Even though it's much less important on the backliners. And unfortunately, XGI 7 doesn't even have a fearsome to turn that into, I don't know, emotional damage. Only physical damage. The Reach. I think it's a location in like Game of Thrones, right? Take a peek on this mountain even though it's nighttime. See if we see anything. Oh, wow. Do we see anything? Okay, so we got the ancient statue here. Interesting. I think in all my runs previously, it was always in the southern part of the map. So I was able to grab the ancient statue just prior to fighting Black Monolith. We still can, of course. I like to do that. I like to leave the ancient statue, because again, with Black Monolith being the capstone fight of this, each particular run, I like to use any consumables that I'm going to use for the Black Monolith fight, for example, the second wind potions and whatever. And often, if I'm drinking a bunch of those across the team, bros get sick. And so I need to pass a little bit of time for them to recover from the sickness. Passing time means that the mood falls. Mood falling means we don't start the battle confident, and starting the battle confident is incredibly important. All that is to say, I leave the ancient statue as something that I visit just before going to Black Monolith, and so I'm going to leave it there. But we like finding it for that very purpose. The problem with Hammer Duelist is awkward positioning. Yeah, exactly. Hammer Bros want to strip armor and set other bros up, right? So they're not, like, duelists, the joy of a duelist is killing an enemy through their armor, but the Warhammer is more designed to destroy the armor. There is an ability called Destroy Armor, after all. So... Alright, and I think I'm going to try to conserve ammo here. And so Nixlarfs is super fast, so actually we can... Yeah, we'll wait. Isn't it really effective in Monolith fight? The Hammer Duelist? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it probably is. Any duelist is effective in the Monolith fight, though, just because Ancient Dead have pretty low hit point values underneath their heavy armors. Again, I'm gonna try to conserve a little ammo. Let's move in melee range of this nerd trying to throw javelins at us. Yeah, stop being a nerd. Stop throwing javelins. Nice clean little fight. And they had a named item. It's not very exciting. I guess it can be fine as a weapon to hang on to specifically for fighting goblins in like Goblin City. I guess. The Firm Guardian. Weird name for an item, but okay. 34 range defense, yeah. I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, these types of shields, while they have like a purpose, I guess, as a better than kite shield, who cares, right? All right, Akibio. I think we just roll down the right side here with our Forge Gunner. We're going to be a little bit fragile. Again, I think on Akibio here specifically, we're going to be looking to put additional fur padding on whatever attachment or on whatever heavy armor we end up putting him on. Hopefully something better than this. And so we got to pick a point. So we're going to have to do a weapon mastery as his last perk at level 11, but we can wait on that. I guess I could pick it now. That particular weapon mastery I think would be axe mastery. Is a good choice anyway. If I make a build like this and they end up with somewhat low melee skill, then I don't hate giving them sword mastery and giving them a great sword. It also helps their secondaries the tiniest amount because a great sword is 2 fatigue lighter than the other, you know, big chunk and two-handed weapon equivalents, with the great sword being minus 14 maximum fatigue, whereas like great axe and heavy flanged mace and all the other, you know, heavy rusty axe, they're all like minus 16. Anyway, so we're probably going to grab axe mastery. I don't like to decide now because if I find a famed item, I can adjust course. So then the other perk for Akibio, there's a decision between Underdog and Fort Mind. When he stams out, we want to use him like a fatigue neutral and put him in pretty, you know, potentially dangerous positions. And Underdog is insane when you already have high melee defense, which he does. 41, we still have a level to go. Akibio is an absolute Chad. But at the same time, Fort Mind, I already gave my spiel on how good resolve is for getting to confident as quickly as possible and, you know, being able to fight through horror and geists and all the other resolve effects. But in this case, it will improve the power of our fearsome, which is also really good. Because Fort Mind not only multiplies his resolve as is, it multiplies the additional resolve provided by the banner, making for a pretty substantial debuff. Hey, XJI7, you'll be happy to know you're still alive. You hit level 11. Golf clap. You did it. You've got 55 hit points, but we're keeping you alive to the end. That's a hopeful promise. So yeah, the other thing too is if we end up finding a weapon with fatigue, minus fatigue cost per swing, that will allow us to not need a weapon mastery. So then we could get both. Fort Mind affects the resolve buff from... Well, so Confident does not give additional resolve. It gives melee attack, ranged attack, and melee defense. The resolve debuffs, or like the bad resolve states of like fleeing or whatever, have a minus to resolve, but Confident does not have a positive resolve. Let's go, been following on YouTube. Nice. Cool, cool. But yeah, so I think I might just grab Fort Mind. I don't know, I'm kind of convinced. I feel like it's good here. Again, I'd like to get Underdog if we can find a good named weapon to fill in the gap. And I guess the other option too, I mean, I still could get Underdog and then, get Underdog and then swing for 15. It's a little bit of feels bad. But it's not too bad. Again, because he's got the gun, right? So he's going to be firing mostly until enemies come to him. So maybe we don't care about weapon mastery as much. I usually do end up taking weapon mastery on that kind of build though, so. No, I had the, well, for what it's worth, Bajante, I had the exact same misconception. So, you're in good company, or we're both dumb. Take your pick. This is too juicy of a shot not to take, right? Oh, I can't take it. There's a rock in my way. Disaster. I can't see over the rock. That's all right. This is still a good shot. And I'm going to try to be a little conservative with ammo. That's why you blind fire over it? I know, right? He should know. That's what I want. Alright, so we'll get Manifest Destiny Child here. So we should be able to protect Nyx Larfs fully. Let him do his blastin'. So Akibio will potentially get hit here. I guess let's take out that particular orc because of the threat of a headshot onto Akibio. So many spear wall sound effects. Hell yeah. You love to hear it. The spear wall sound effect is one of victory. Let's see. We'll see if I can get away with shooting his gun again. Looks like we'll be able to. We're taking out most of the orcs. We're committing a, you know, probably a word I shouldn't say on Twitch. Starts with a G. Anyway, we'll take out the whole species. How am I liking the Spear Duelist so far? Really good. I'm really enjoying it. It is serving me very well. There have been many basically free fights as far as tools are concerned. I think the tempo is really good as far as, you know, fights against lots of common enemies like zombies. You wonder if you're still alive? You are still alive, the Chaucer. However, the downside is that you only rolled +1s in melee skill, and we didn't want to have too many of the bro that is the roll that I gave you, and you got replaced. If you'd like to claim a different bro, there are a few yet unclaimed. But if you want to cheer on the squad from the sidelines, yeah, literally by Blackfire, actually. This is true. That was the recruit that pushed you to the sidelines. But he's really good. Can you have a bro? You sure can. Up for grabs still is a spear duelist, or a frontline gunner, or a hybrid. Take your pick. There's only one you. Tell you what, we'll give you the we want this hat. That hat's a little silly. You'll take the frontline gunner. Ask and you shall receive. Deep space. Deep Space Cowboy. We were one character short of your full username. Well, we just took out the underscores. How are you feeling with dealing with orc warriors? They look pretty tough to shred through. Well, we fought one orc Sea of Tents camp, and it went really well. The main thing I worry about when fighting big orc camps is just doing enough damage as the warlord keeps screaming and making sure I don't take too much of a resolve debuff. They are kind of a problem. They're probably the hardest enemy type for us to face, despite that being the only like Sea of Tents version of a fight we've taken with this company so far. The cannons are pretty strong, right? Oh yeah, dude, these handguns are awesome. They are blasting, but they're only like okay at stripping armor. Like they're pretty bad at it. They don't do too well against orc warriors. They do well as, you know, from the perspective of like blasting damage in a large AoE, but they don't do much damage to any individual enemy. So Friso here, very similar to Final Overdrive. I'm probably going to give him a weapon as his final perk, a backup weapon. It's a canon event. So I could give him Mace Mastery. I'm okay. For the most part, a lot of the one-handed weapons that I would take as a backup to the spear are going to fulfill a very similar function. So, you know, I kind of almost don't care what it is. The mace has a reasonably high fatigue cost, so giving that to the guy with Iron Lungs is reasonable. Giving Final Overdrive's Cleaver Mastery, because Cleavers also have a pretty good but expensive attack, makes sense as a backup for him. Again, as previously mentioned, I don't have to take a Weapon Mastery here. A one-handed Noble Sword is still reasonably inexpensive to attack with, even without Mastery. But I like the mace. I think one bro with Mace Mastery is totally fine. We'll just go ahead and do it. And we hope that we find a famed one-handed mace, and if not, you know what? The winged mace will be just fine. So let's go south and see if we can find the hunting grounds, or just more fights to take, more orcs to slay, more ammo to burn through. We would like to get the second card upgrade. It's not super important to us. It's definitely like hurting our cash inflow, but at this point in the run, I don't really need, like, money's not super high value, so. Mace Mastery might help against Necro-Savants and Conquer and Monolith too, good choice. Yeah, and I didn't even bring it up, but absolutely, like, a reliable stun is very nice. And I'm going to try again to conserve ammo. Good evening, Final Overdrive. Final Overdrive, you have slain the Barbarian Madman. Held him off with your spear, and then finished him off with the cleaver. Was the cleaver any good? No. It was terrible. I've still got it in my inventory. I can show you. In fact, can I show now? No, I have to do it after battle. It's terrible. It basically offers nothing of value. So we will not be using it. Free money? Yeah, exactly, we can sell it. His cleaver sucked, and maybe that's why he died. Who could even ever know? he finally broke through. And he's even gonna get to attack. Disaster. Is there any angle I can take where I can attack him and not a bro? I don't think so. Does he actually get the stats of the cleaver? No, yeah, he gets the stats of the cleaver. And same thing with champions. They get, they actually use that weapon in combat. So if the barbarian madman is particularly difficult to fight, that very well could be why, as he's got a real good cleaver. Okay, not gonna worry too much about what I'm replacing because we're gonna replace more here soon anyway. But yeah, the cleaver is this. It's terrible. So named items always have an improvement to their durability and then 2 different things done to them. In this case, it was shield damage and weapon skills build up -1 less fatigue. Terrible. So it's basically the same thing as a whatever it's even, what is this weapon type even called? Heavy rusty blade, rusty warblade, which is kind of a questionable base item anyway. So it's just a hunk of metal, exactly. More orcs here. The orcs keep showing up, we'll keep fighting them. These orcs are, oh, that was cute. We just watched like a changing of the guard. Were you in the lineup when he got these? I mean, you were fighting the barbarian madman was a mono affair for Final Overdrive, but you are, I mean, you were in the company. You weren't in the like fighting line though. Okay. So we'll get the guns in position. And I guess we'll make our... I don't really understand the... Almost makes me wonder if I should have taken Cleaver Mastery. I don't think so. In the important fights, the hammer is going to be better. But it is funny how often I've used those whips. Hey, good night, XJI7. We'll keep the Alps away. There we go. That's the kind of blast I want to see. Oh, okay. You're saying, all right. I assume that was a... like, I'm going to bed. Never mind. I get it. I'm a little slow sometimes. Let's stop this guy from running away. bit past mid-afternoon for you down under. Ah, an Aussie. I have an uncle who lives in Australia. I have not ever gone down to visit him, though. And we got another named shield. This one's actually good, though, so that's cool. This is a pretty good shield. Not the most exciting pickup, but still a very good one. This is another run full of famed shields. What you gonna do? You found a better Nimble Forge set? Oh man, better than the one you had? Because that one you had on display previously for your like potential flail duelist was really good. 74% Battle Forge, 57% Nimble. Damn. Is it Noble Mail and the Step Helmet? With really good rolls? God, that's crazy. All right, we'll put on Sir Erlen's Bulwark. We'll lose a little bit of range defense, but that's a-okay by me. Blackfire will just be kitted out in fancy shiny gear. Nimble Forge is your favorite? Yeah, me too. If you're able to pull it off, like if you get the right gear for it, it's very satisfying. All right, Deep Space Cowboy has leveled up. I think we're just gonna take all primary stats here. I'm tempted by the +4 maximum fatigue. We are gonna need or want a little more on Deep Space Cowboy, but I suppose if we get a really good, relatively light, heavy piece of armor like this Distinguished Gilder's Guard, then I think we're in good shape. So he's a little light on fatigue. We'd like a little bit more, but I think not at the expense of non-min rolled stats. We'll just have to give him our lightest heavy armor to be effective. So that'll be okay. You get 262 for 17 and 240. Wow. Blackfire, those are some insanely good pieces of gear. But yeah, and then so for perk here, I think right now, again, he's kind of going to be following in Akibio's footsteps, and we're just going to get Battle Forged. It's definitely going to be a perk we're going to want, and it could equate to some battlefield longevity and tool savings while we're here on the road. Though realistically, like, Scavenger here is almost more important for the ammo than the tools. We're staying at 150 like perpetually. With the spears, we're just not getting hit. Now here again, I'm gonna avoid using throwing weapons and just keep it to gun blasting. Next time you charge, fight a C10 minus 100 tools. I mean, yeah, fair. Like, that actually is a reasonably likely proposition, is that something like that happens. So, you know, fair. That's actually true. Final overdrive there, and circle there. Next larv's here, I suppose. I guess Manifest Destiny's Child's kind of doing not much. Most of the tools that we're spending in these fights is actually just fixing up our spears afterwards. Anytime you hit an enemy's armor, you do lose a little bit of durability on your weapon. Not too much, but it does add up. What? How have they done this? Let's see. You know, honestly, I think the tools are more important than the ammo. Oh yeah, we need to get Deep Space Cowboy a better weapon. The weapon we've got on him right now is just like a arming sword, which is a terrible sidearm for that build because we don't have duelist. So I really need some big bonkin' chonkin' two-hander. Doesn't really matter to me what it is. Mace, axe, sword, hammer. Okay. The team is euphoric from all these victories, chaining them one right after the other. Oscar has leveled up. Excellent. Finally got nimble. It is going to be a pain in the butt to swap out his armor, so I'm going to wait till we eat a tiny bit of food. Or can I put something in someone's pack? Sure, let's put that away. And then we'll swap his armor. And we'll leave the helmet as is. And we'll go and level him up. Not gonna take the +1 melee skill. Might take the +2 melee defense. Could also be convinced to take the 3 hit points. 4 resolve I think is fine. 3 fatigue is fine. Do you have your original hunter and poacher still? No, the original hunter died. The original hunter was just like blasted by briggies with throwing weapons. But XGI 7 here is one of the original, as is Nixlarf's. These are the 2 original poachers with the company for 66 days. The company is 66 days old. But the original hunter died, which is too bad because the hunter is like the best bro. Do you not want to use the bone hammers instead of the arming sword you were talking about? Oh. Yes. Yes, I do. Thank you. I do. I do, in fact, want to use one of these bone hammers instead of the arming sword I was talking about. Perfect. Great. Thank you. I kind of like didn't realize that I had them. Just didn't cross my mind. Chat hive mind. Hello, Manifest Destiny's Child. And let's see. I guess I'll take 2 melee defense. I think I'm on that over the hit points, especially with 9 instead of Colossus. If I had taken Colossus as my sort of survival perk here at the beginning, I think then I'd rather have the hit points than the melee defense. But I think 9 lives plus the melee defense makes a bit more sense. Unfortunately, all the bench warmers are getting extra sad. Alright, continuing on. We are going to re-explore some of this tundra. So, ever since fighting the barbarian madman, I'll make sure that we've explored basically all of this area. Is kind of my... Oh! Here it is. Wonderful. The hunting ground. We did it. Cool. So, let's fight it. So let's take a moment to think about what I want to do with the bros for this fight specifically. Nixlarf's going to be pretty key. We want to, if at all possible, get him in melee with the Catal dagger, putting overwhelm stacks, because you can overwhelm the Idjarok, which makes his next, little slidey attack far less likely to hit. You just beat your hunting grounds too? Nice. Should I have a whip for the overwhelm? So it's just the one, and yes, a whip for him is a excellent idea. I think the gun is going to be nigh unusable. And so we will put his gun on in Theobald's pocket. And we're going to take one of these whips, I suppose Black Fires, and we'll give it to Nixlarf's. Oops, all guns versus Idjarok, what could go wrong? Yeah, we're gonna have to swap out some of the guns. The hammer is fine, but for the Idjarok, the mace is better, because the mace can apply daze, and daze is an excellent debuff to have on the Idjarok. Unfortunately, that is the only one. Orc cleavers could be handy. Spear wall will stop Idjarok, trust me. Blackfire says it's true. The fatigue neutrals with shield aren't totally useless. You can somewhat, I won't say control where he goes, but you can make reasonable predictions where he's going to attack, and we can put these bros kind of shielding any vulnerable bros from the line of fire. So leaving them with a shield actually isn't the worst thing. It's fine. I'm going to leave this military pick in his pocket, actually, just purely because we're running out of space. The spears are not going to be any good. So we're going to pull out the other weapons. That's right, you have been handed a big boy spear, an adult spear. Now we've got all these head choppers, these orc cleavers. They're a bit harder to use. Final Overdrive can, because of Cleaver Mastery. So we can give this to him. But I think instead of this, and these winged maces, let's put military cleaver here. Just because they're duelists doesn't mean we couldn't give them big chunk and two-handers, but they'll actually do pretty good damage with the double gripped one-handed weapons. We're gonna chunk through his armor real quick like. The guns are kind of pointless, but they do start out preloaded. So there could be situations where we might be able to get one gun blast off and then just switch to the jagged pike and get both attacks. So I'll leave the guns here and here. The throwers, you know, I think we'll leave these as they are. Oscar's melee skill is low enough. I don't know. Arming sword or boar spear. Either one's fine. And the banner will do banner stuff. I think armors are all in good shape. We've basically been untouched in all our previous fights. I guess let's do this. We do want to do it during the day. And I don't know what happens, like if your inventory is totally full. I have 2 extra inventory slots. Good. I don't know what happens if you like don't have any. I love how the enemy is a Ijirak. Like, just one. Boom. Starts out hitting XJI 7 real bad. Which we don't like. So we'll have to tuck him in. So we'll get the... We'll just leave him right where he is and we'll move Alpha and Blackfire over to the side. Is this losable, Slurgy, right here? No, I don't think so. I would say this is nigh unlosable. You've never seen it done with all duelists? Well, I suppose prepare to see it done all duelists. Oh, and we sprained an ankle too, so he's definitely not moving. Final Overdrive got a bruised leg. That's unfortunate. So he may attack from either here or here to hit Oscar, which Oscar can take a hit, so that'd be fine. We kind of want Deep Space Cowboy to be able to hit with the mace next turn. But we've got 3 overwhelm stacks on him, so if you think about it, javelins are just throwing spear walls. True. Very true. Probably not decapitate range yet. I think just regular attacks there. So let's go ahead and let him... Aha. Oh, dang it. That bug's still there. Sometimes he's right here. Now, Nixlarfs did get chilled, so he's going to have some difficulty in... keeping him overwhelmed. Ooh, bruised leg. That hurts. Bruised leg hurts here. Final Overdrive can't get in and give him a smashing. We can put a dog down. The dog can help. Anyway, we don't love where the Idjarok has attacked us so far. And I guess I'll wait with Nixlarfs, right? I mean, I could get a single overwhelm hit in. Is that worth? Yeah, it probably is. No, it's a bug. This is not intended. I don't know specifically what causes it. This does happen to me sometimes. I don't know if it's the faster rendering bug, or like the quicker or whatever the thing where I can speed up combat. I don't know if it's from that or what it is. Ooh, my goodness. We have procced 9 lives on XJI 7. So, mayday, mayday. We'll need to be very careful. Oh no, he'll be fine. We got a dislocated shoulder here on Oscar. On death's door equals fine. You know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, after all. He's fighting back. He can attack the same spot? I didn't know that, actually. I didn't know he could go through bros to attack that spot. Well, turns out XGI-7 is not okay. We fully surrounded him, except for, well, the spot where the Idurok was. I did not know he could travel through Bros and go to the same spot. Rippin' pepperonis, I guess. And there was a chance of him missing, too. I tucked all the boys in to cover him up. Well, that sucks. Now I have auto loot on. You don't think this will make it where I can't transform the armor, do you? Because it's gonna auto loot these things. Okay, it makes room for him. Okay, it just doesn't auto loot? Or maybe I turned auto loot off. Where's that? Gameplay? No, I have it checked. It just doesn't do it here. Interesting. Well, XGI-7 has perished. He had a good run. Damn. You know, and he did get a turn. I attacked twice. I could have moved instead and then fully surrounded him. That was an option. You're back in the game, boys. If you're gonna die, yeah, if you're gonna die, it may as well be a legendary location. So, yeah, the auto loot, it just like didn't grab things, which is interesting. So I like didn't do it, but there were the stackable items there in front, and it looks like it didn't grab them because there were two of the heavy throwing javelins. Okay. Well, Nyx Larfs is now our only original bro still alive. So now we can put in either Eberhard or the Chaucer. The Chaucer was not doing well offensively, but certainly is an option. We would have to give him Backstabber, I think. You're trash, you'll be the cheerleader. Yeah. Might have to remain the cheerleader. I think right now it's like, could have been like a proper like tank, but I never leveled fatigue the first 6 level ups here, so kind of coming from behind. Eberhard here is, you know, someone who we could put in. He was picked up a while ago and he's backup pole dude. I don't really want to train up a new bro. It's day 67. I could get a new bro and just train him up from level 1, and we could get him leveled up in time to participate in all the big boy fights. However, they're just gonna be kind of dead weight for a long time, and Eberhard is serviceable and fine now. So I think I think we'll leave Everhard in. Well, he felt useless in reserve, and he's sad that XJI-7 died. He's dissatisfied with the company, but soon he'll come around. And we got these fancy armors. Armor of the Ijarok and Helmet of the Ijarok, both recovering some hit points per turn. We'll equip those somewhere. They're not light, that's for sure. But they're lighter than the decayed coat of scales. They're red because of the blood of you and the Ijarok, that's right. The memory of XJI-7 lives on in this armor. They're excellent armors, though. So we do want them, we're happy to have them. But sacrifices were unfortunately made. So we'll put the squad back as they were. Bro dies, get hat on the bingo card. Oh no, it's true. We did trade a bro for a hat. Ah. It's true. That is in fact what happened. Bro dies, get hat. Mark it on your bingo cards if you're playing at home. A classic, a Slurgy staple. Somehow it always finds its way back. We've got a ton of injuries now. So, practically unable to fight. And lots of the armors are chunked too, so those are gonna need to get fixed up. Time to sell some items. Seems like the pack mules are full. Exactly. Yeah, we're gonna head back and sell some items for sure. We're gonna sell some items. Visit the boy. Hold on. What were those two injuries? Bruised leg, broken leg. Literally 5 AP per movement. Final Overdrive can move 1 hex per round. Incredible. Alright, we're gonna get back to a temple. There's a temple there. Is there a temple here? No. So we gotta head back to Brandenburg Stat. Gotta fix up all these terrible injuries and we can sell stuff there too. But a couple legendary locations down. We know that the library is here, the Sunken Library. We don't know where Goblin City is yet. It could be in this little section. It's always on mountains. I don't know. I think here is probably too close to Tanweir to be a possible spawn location, so I'm guessing here or maybe in here somewhere. So we'll try to find that too at some point. He doesn't need to move to spear walls. True. That is true. Okay. So our ambitions here have at least 10,000 crowns in reserve. Probably we'll get that just from selling things from this current expedition, so that would be a good choice. Defeating 5 packs of roving beasts. Takes a while to find them. 6 armors with attachments. Got to be really close to that already, I would think. God, that's got to be, this has to be close to being completed. confident do I think I am that I'll get 10,000 crowns after selling things? I might not. It might be shy. Let's do this one. 6 armors with attachments. Right now we've got, how many attachments? Does this count? That probably counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I guess I should just get that completed. Any fights we see along the way, I am unlikely to take. Aha! Alright. Confirmed. Did just complete it. That'll be nice. That'll get Eberhard's mood a little boosted. Give him a little boost, you know? Perk him up a bit. No need to chase after orcs when we're all hurt and stuff. Unless... Final Overdrive just doesn't need to move. So we just won't have him move. He'll just sit still. Nobody's gonna move. In honor of Final Overdrive, we will all remain stationary. Excellent. We're all sitting still, as we were intended to do. We don't need to move to win this fight. They're the ones that need to move. Dislocated shoulder. We will move Sir Humpert. Boy, doing the round swing. Isn't that dangerous? Doesn't he know? We moved a little bit. Some people moved. It's okay, it was necessary. See, look, Final Overdrive moved too. You moved very far. We're all very proud of you. This berserker going on a little bit of a field trip. To hell. Wow. Well, I'm glad I took that fight. Walter the Spider's mercenary coat. All right, 317 armor, that's quite good. We definitely take that. Okay, great. Huh. Well, you win some, you win some. We now have forge armors for everyone. At least body armors. Helmets are still a little bit lacking at the moment. And attachments are also a little bit lacking, despite the achievement, or the ambition we just completed. But, you know, that's okay. Will we get to... Oh, we got a company moving across the map. That to me signifies there could be a conflict for the... the thingy. The crisis. The crisis could be starting up relatively soon. Disbanded troops? Alright. First things first, we're treating our boys at the temple. We're just treating it all. Now some of those really bad injuries, like the broken leg, still could take 2 days to go away. I love how Final Overdrive is still euphoric. He's like, yeah, I mean, I broke my leg. I also bruised my other leg. I can't really walk, but I'm feeling good. Window shopping chads. You know, I was actually... Funny you mentioned that, because I was thinking about, you know, taking a peek. Because, look, Eberhard is fine. He's fine, right? But if we had someone better, that would be even more fine. But first things first, we are going to sell some stuff. I could go to Fernshitfest to sell things as well. So I'm going to sell some stuff, but not everything. Anything that is over 300, I just won't sell here. That seems like a reasonable threshold. Hey, good night, Blackfire. Squire for 810. Yeah, I was looking at that Squire for 810. Oh, believe me, we're gonna do a little bit, just a little bit of fishing. Just a little. Just, you know, a bit. Is there any reason I want to use these man splitters or keep them? I don't think so. Not this run. So like I said, we're not going to sell the... We're not going to sell the furs, we're not going to sell the copper ingots. Ianasur and Nani will have to take us up on that one. Basically, we're not selling the trade goods and the sellable items, and a couple of the super expensive armors. We'll hang on to those. But we will buy tools and supplies. Medical supplies were fine. Buy some grown grains. All right. Can we pay him in Bitcoin? Here, I got this worthless digital currency. I was also looking at this 370 wild man, just to see. So we'll take a look at Berthold. And honestly, this is a really cheap witch hunter. Let's just take a look at them. You know? Till the Outcast. -7 melee defense. Incredible. In the bin. Up next, Berthold. Ooh, okay. Oh shit. Oh shit. XGI8. Oh my god, I am gonna name him that. That's good. I don't... Ooh, boy, I could go overwhelm. I don't... Let's just take a look at the next guy just to see. Okay. This guy will go to the bin. Right? Yeah. Here's the deal. Berthold here is pretty good. 60 melee attack is pretty solid. This one is impatient, so he'll always act first. So he just rolled pretty well throughout the whole range. Yeah. Dastard, huh? Here's 10 gold now to fuck off. Exactly. Exactly. That guy is... whatever. I hate Dastard. It's the worst. Berthold here is pretty good. His secondaries are excellent. Here's what's really sad. At 60 resolve, like right now, if he had the Sergeant Sash, and then he had Fort Mine, he'd already be at like 88 resolve. It's like competitive with our banner. Here's what I'm thinking. Why not more guns? He can shoot a gun. He's got, you know, basically guaranteed to end up with really good ranged attack. Impatient is only for the first round of combat. Correct, yeah. So it's impatient is a little bit goofy. Depends on the bro that has it. I kind of don't like impatient because if they have like really low initiative, they go from the first round to like way late the second round, which is not always a good thing. EELI Dub, thank you for the sub. We're getting our poach on. We're doing it. Thanks, yeah, thanks for the sub. That's very, very kind. But yeah, I'm thinking about making Berthold another frontline gunner. How insane would that be? How stupid? How great? He may end up with lower melee skill than the others, potentially. But that's what, you know, that's what Overhype made greatswords for. We are reasonably likely, throughout the course of our adventures here still, to find another good named forge armor. Thinking about resources we can use. How easily Berthold can be named EELI Dub. True. That is true. You want to shoot people? That's what EELI Dub's gonna do. So, you found yourself in the right place. But only in this game, good. We don't do that IRL. That's bad. We're gonna make him a frontline gunner. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. It's what the game has provided me. Like, I don't have a choice. You foresee your death? I don't think so. I foresee life. We'll want to get him training. So we'll go ahead and... So of the 3 choices, I haven't talked about this. I've used it, but not talked about it. So sparring fight, you know, 50% in the next battle. Veterans lessons, 35% for 3 battles. And rigorous schooling, 20% for 5. Well, 35% for 3 is like the most overall. And unless you're like gonna do one super big fight, and you know you're gonna do one really big fight and then come back for, you know, because then the buff goes away, you could choose a different one. We're just gonna choose this one. Now, XJI 7, if you'd like, Oscar can become XJI 8 or 7, whatever your choice is. You let me know and you can have it. Eight, excellent. New and improved, you know? I sometimes joke, my wife likes to sleep later than I do, especially on the weekends. So when I leave the bedroom, I'll put the iPad where I was sleeping, and I joke that that is boyfriend 2.0. At least that was the joke when we were dating. I guess now it's husband 2.0. New and improved. So XJ 7 is now XJI 8. Hear this, you filthy casual. Absolutely. So yeah, we'll need to get EELI another gun. We even have the large powder bag on the ready. Makes it seem like you've lost way more bros. Yeah. Luckily, I mean, fingers crossed, this obituary is much more sensible. It's short. It probably won't get much longer. So, cool. The last one was better. Oh man. The obituary and the peasant militia run. Oh my god. Embarrassingly large. Cool. Last run had a scroll wheel. Exactly. Yeah, last run was out of control. Last one was out of control. All right, well, I think this is actually a good place for me to call it for the eve. I've got to wake up early again tomorrow. I woke up early this morning. Not my favorite thing in the world. And actually, you know who's playing, and they're playing Reforged, is a member of this community who shows up sometimes. Aperio. Cool. He's playing Reforged. So I am maybe tentatively going to check that out after this particular run runs out. But we'll see. Yeah, you're welcome. This is always a delight to stream. And so to all of you, wherever you are in the world, have yourself a lovely day or night. Ta-ta.